Good morning, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. This is my second video lecture on the concepts of literature. In my earlier video, I just spoke about why should we study literature. Here in my second video, I would like to share my thinking, share my thoughts on another concept, that is what is poetry. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ we can say ಕಾವ್ಯ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು. Looks to be quite simple always, because whenever we study any poem in any given context, that is ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಪದ್ಯ ಓದಿ, ಇದು ಪೊಯಮ್ ಓದಿ ಅಂತ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಬೈ ದಿಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಶೂರ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ರೆಡ್ hundreds of poems. Of course, in the syllabus you must have read few poems only, but ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ we would have read a number of poems. But basically, I don't think that nobody has ever put this kind of question at all, because we usually take the poetry for granted. Because I say very strongly, poetry is highly influential, poetry is very effective, poetry is really brings about number of changes in the society. But before we try to understand any poem, usually we are introduced to the poets here, and next we will be given summary of the poem. But I say any poetry cannot be summarized at all, because by any poem will have its own meaning, in the sense if you take any poem in a given context, it will have multiple meanings. But unfortunately, whenever we talk in terms of poetry as such, or whenever we read any poem as such, we worry about the summary here, we worry about meaning of the poem, or rather we always worry about the, from the examination point of view, most of the students will have only one thing in the mind, that is, what is the summary of the poem? I say that once again, poetry or any poem cannot be summarized at all. But poetry has its own history for that matter, that is very important. So when I say that poetry has its own history, it is very interesting, because in the beginning of the evolution of the human civilization, if you really read the human civilization very closely, very thoroughly, you will be surprised to find that all were poets. That is very important. Whoever was there in the society, all were poets. But later on, we have evolved from a stage of all were poets into a stage of we become, rather society has become, rather poets have become exclusive. So earlier poets were inclusive, later on they have become exclusive. How earlier poets were inclusive? Because when you go back to the history of civilization, so men have evolved from one stage, for example, from the stage of food gathering, then they got into food hunting, then they started doing the agriculture. Please remember, men were, don't think that language suddenly got into existence. One of the biggest inventions of the humankind was the language only. Look at the, invention of the language. Don't think that language suddenly got into existence. So in the beginning, when man started his journey on the surface of the earth, definitely when he went on looking at the nature, he felt quite surprised, shocked. Whenever he looked at the fire, whenever he looked at the thundering, whenever he looked at the rain as such, or whenever he looked at the animals as such, he felt really shocked, wondered, and they simply started imitating the nature, because he couldn't understand what these things were about. He just tried to express his or her opinion through the gestures only, because language was not there. Through the gestures, he tried to express his anger, he tried to express his joy, he tried to express his shock, Likewise, all his emotions were expressed through the gestures only, and he tried to imitate nature in the sense whenever rain was there, he used to have rain dance. Whenever fire was there, he used to have that fire dance. Likewise, he went on imitating. Rather, I say that poetry started its journey in form of magic. Because he believed very strongly there was some power was there in the nature, and thereby he, in order to understand the natural causes, disasters, he thought that there was some power was there. Thereby he thought there was some magic was there. But later on, when he just went on, with his own ideas, when men started agriculture, then only we can find he was made to have some kind of physical labor. Earlier physical labor was there, but it was limited in nature, it was limited in context. But when he started doing the agriculture, so most of the men came together, and agriculture demanded some kind of physical labor. So the starting point of the poetry is when he started doing physical labor, he got tired, because most of the men actually involved, or rather they involved together, so they got tired. How to get out of this tiredness, or rather he got fatigued. So what is the solution? So then he thought that there should be some kind of medium should be there. Thereby he started dancing, and also to the dance, a song was added. Then music was also added. Music was mainly not through the musical instruments. Music was only through the oral medium as such. So in that way, when you just look at when I say that what is poetry? Poetry actually has been evolved with these three things basically. That is, one was a song, dance and music. Three things put together, you got some kind of a song as such. Thereby, in order to reduce his physical labor, he wanted some medium, so that he thought that he will get some kind of relaxation. So the basic concept was poetry had all these things together. It evolved actually. So thereby, whenever you look at the whole beginning of this kind of poetry, you can find slowly when men started speaking. Then he could have sounds, then sentences, then the song as such. So earlier poetry, we can say that broadly we can put it into one category, that is called folk songs. So who were the poets of these folk songs? No one was the poet at all. Rather, all were poets. Then how did they get this kind of imagination to write folk songs? None. So they came together. All men were put together. Then they started singing songs. So now also you can just go back to the history of the poetry here. When you find folk songs as such, you don't find any author at all. All were authors. That was one stage. But when society has evolved further, then there was some division of labor. That is also very important. We don't know at what point of exact time division of labor took place in the society, but wherein, especially in Indian context, you can find society divided into castes also. So as and when this division of labor concept actually came into existence, you can find from where exactly people were, inclusive, rather all were poets. Then we found later on exclusive poets. That is, a separate group of people actually have come into existence. They are called exclusively poets. Then what was their subject? Their subject was of kings, their subject was of queens. They went on describing the people. Look at the emergence of the subject matter also, because there was no question of any relaxation. Because of the evolution of the language, we found origin of exclusive poets, wherein they went on describing several things disconnected, rather unconnected with the society. Thereby, poetry has become exclusive. Look at this wonderful transformation. So thereby, till I believe that, especially in the Indian context, till we got, we started independence movement. Most of the poets in the Indian context were exclusive poets only. But if you go to England situation, where romantic poets, they were the first people to brought poetry to the ground as such. Rather, they brought poetry to the earth. They made poetry very simple. That is very important. They made poetry very simple, and also they made common man as the heroes of their poets. So my point is here, how exactly poets actually become exclusive and really made poetry, what can I say, exclusive also. But independence movement actually brought once again importance to the poetry, wherein some of the poets actually started talking against the British people, and a song like Vande Mataram unified the whole Indians. That's very important. One song, just imagine, one song made whole India to get united. So I say here, poetry is very influential, because if you write poetry very seriously, definitely any songs or any song in particular, or rather any poem in particular, will really move the people together. The point I would like to emphasize here is that poets should be responsible toward the society, because poetry is very influential. If you just see the movements across the world, most of the people made use of this poetry as a tool, as a weapon to change the society. But sometimes as a society, because it is also part and parcel of the culture, we can find different kinds of poetry also in the modern context. We can find different genres in the poetry. One is, if you say that children's literature, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಶಿಶು ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಭಜನೆ ಸಂಗೀತ, ಭಕ್ತಿ ಸಂಗೀತ, devotional poems we say in English, and also you can find rap music, you can find jazz music. Look at the different varieties of poetry as such, and look at the film music for that matter, film songs for that matter. I just would like to give one small example here. Look at the influence of the songs on the minds of the people, especially on the young people here. Sometimes not all film songs are bad. Some of the film songs are really interesting. It touches your hearts. Definitely it touches your hearts. But on the whole, I say, can we define poetry? Poetry cannot be defined at all, because hundreds of people have given hundreds of definitions. But I just make use of two quotes by two people here. They say that poetry is best words in best places. Poetry is best words in best places. Second thing is prose walks, poetry dances. So when you just look at these two, small and really meaningful definitions, you can apply to the film songs also here. You see. So whenever you listen to some, look at in the college functions, always starting from the primary level to the degree level. Whenever in college functions, whenever the so-called cultural performances are there, why students are very much attracted toward the film songs? Most of the both boys and girls are highly enthusiastic to participate in the film songs, because they will dance only, and neither the song is heard now, but sometimes music is more heard. So what is this? What exactly it is really happening is here. It really impacts the mind, and definitely whenever you watch, your own friends dancing on the stages, definitely you get highly thrilled, and you will be transported to the different world as such. Just look at the next time with this background of the poetry as such, I say that watch the performances of your friends on the stages. Definitely you will be transported to different world, but finally what has happened? Nothing has happened to you at all. Sometimes it corrupts your mind, because is there any meaning for the dance as such? Is there any meaning is there? No meaning is there at all. Thereby I say very humorously here, go to your houses, or rather if you are at home now, I believe that you are all of you are at home. You sit in front of the TV, go to any music channel, and you can get a number of songs. Let it be songs from any language. Mute the sound and keep on observing the dance of the the so-called heroes and heroines. It looks quite absurd. It looks quite absurd because there is no meaning at all. Look at the meaning. Any kind of dance should have some meaning. For example, if you just take the classical dance, definitely any classical dance will have its own meaning. It's highly scientific, difficult to understand also. Look at the progression of the poetry from the inclusive to the exclusive. All classical dances very difficult to understand. No students like those. Classical dances at all. But if you just look at the power of the film music as such. So sometimes I say that this kind of film music, this kind of film dances really corrupt the mind and definitely makes you to forget the many problems in around you, because people want some kind of escape always. So my point is here, the poetry has that kind of influence for that matter on the minds of the people. It can be positive, it can be negative. So any poet in the modern context should be very careful, because he has that power to make the minds to move, to make the minds to active. And whenever poets really write the songs very actively, or from the point of view of the people, definitely they will be in danger. Poets are usually attacked by the establishment always, all the governments across the world. They don't like these kinds of poets at all. They like people who write film songs. They like people who write devotional songs. Look at these people. I don't say that these songs should not be there at all, but I say that these poets, whoever writes poetry, against the establishment as such, they will be in trouble. Sometimes they will be jailed, sometimes they will be killed. I just say that one example from a poet from Nigeria. His name is Ken Saro-Wiwa. He was just writing the poetry against the Nigerian military dictators. He was simply put behind the bars and he was actually made to die. I just gave one example. If you just look across the world, many poets always will be in danger, because no government likes any serious poet writing serious poem which really moves the people to get into action. So my final request is here, please please be careful whenever you read poetry. What is the content of the poem as such? So content of the poem is very important, and on whose side the poet is, whether the poet is on the people's side, whether the poet is on the establishment side, you should be careful enough to decide. Then only we can appreciate the power of the poetry as such, because once again I say, poetry is very powerful than the prose, than the play, than the short story, because poetry really moves the people. And any poem in general, I say that it should make the people to move towards a good cause. Thank you.